Wow. We're finally here. It's Snyder Cut Day. And something starts playing in the background. Thanks, Zach.
I'm figuring out how this works. I just want to make my screen full screen and we'll figure it out later.
Welcome everyone to part one of the Snyder Cut reaction / commentary. The thing that everyone we've talked to thinks is a joke and has literally had to turn to us and ask, "Oh, you're actually doing that?"
Do you mean the thing that was a joke and you just decided to write on the schedule?
Yeah, it went in the schedule. That's why we're here. Zach and I are going to watch the Snyder Cut, all 4 hours of it in a row. We'll break it up into 2 parts just to make it easier to upload and deal with, and also so you guys can, have a stopping point, because I don't think anyone's going to sit through 4 hours straight. Yeah.
Do you think it's harder to sit through 4 hours of Zack Snyder's Justice League or 4 hours of us talking?
I mean, I think Snyder's Justice League will be more visually engaging than what we're going to do.
Okay.
Some of us did research. I watched a bunch of DCU movies. Zach said his life was busy.
I watched the original Justice League in theaters. I liked it, because it was dumb and I had fun, and I gave it a 6 out of 10. So maybe it's his formula. Maybe I'll be the rare one that thinks this is worse because it's not what I want out of my dumb superhero movies. But do I remember anything? No, I remember nothing. There's something about boxes.
I rewatched Justice League today. It's very chopped together. It's very confusing. It's very fast. It's very much the opposite of a Snyder movie. So I think this is going to be, if anything, for better for worse, very, very, very different.
You kind of ruined our whole bit by watching it, because we're supposed to be the ones who have no background knowledge and no experience with superheroes trying to act like we have.
No, don't worry. Don't worry. Me watching DCU movies 2 times does not make me an expert in the field where people watch these things, 6 times in a month.
I'm an expert. I had a Batman action figure when I was a kid. I'm an expert.
Nice. I think we should just get started. No more time for repartee. We're gonna get started. I'm gonna press play. We're starting at 6 seconds in, because for some reason HBO Max won't let me go back to 000. It just goes back to 005. Yeah, I don't know what that is. I think it's just we just right past the Zack Snyder wanted this in 4:3 aspect ratio card.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna press play in 3, 2, 1, and let's see what Snyder did.
Start.
If you want to go full screen, Zach, it's bottom right-hand corner.
I figured it out. I'm good. This already looks like Zack Snyder just directed the Warner Brothers.
That's like new Warner Brothers logo, isn't it?
Yeah, I think they just wrote all Zack Snyder, so we're going to make our Warner Brothers logo look like Zack Snyder directed it.
You ever notice that when they've changed the Access Entertainment logo like 3 times during the Snyderverse, which just tells you how long it's existed for?
Do you think that's what they blamed it for? They're like, it's all Access Entertainment's logos for it. We'll keep changing it until it works.
It's funny how DC, the logo, has become like more involved over time. Like, it used to just be like, we're DC, and now they do they kind of do the Marvel thing where they're adding the the features of all the characters and the images to make it look more interesting.
Yeah.
So I'm not against. I think it certainly makes it more interesting.
Wait, is this the movie? Are we past logos, or is this still the DC logo?
I think this is.
Who knows?
No, I think this is movie.
This is a movie. Okay.
Oh, wasn't that Kryptonite? The shield, I think. The spear, wasn't that the Kryptonite spear?
Is this? Well, he doesn't. Wait, he doesn't die.
This is a BVS throwback.
Yeah, okay.
This is like BVS.
This just looks like he's in the center of the earth.
This also looks like reshot now to look like BVS.
Okay. Okay. Here's a struggle, first of all. This is Zack Snyder thinking everyone's way caught up in these series, because I have no idea where we are, what's happening. I know nothing about. I saw BVS. I remember absolutely nothing. This is all.
Remember, this is Doomsday. This is like the famous comic book line. It's like the one comic book I've ever read, which is The Death of Superman with Doomsday. Except this is not the cool Doomsday with all like the bone shards and the bone beard around himself. This is like the less interesting looking
is
version.
like Superman's? Is he angry? He sounds like he's orgasming. This is like a really long Superman echoing orgasm.
I think he just died. Is actually what happened. That was a scream of agony.
He did die.
Of death.
Okay, that's right.
Yeah.
Yes, now we got Cyborg. Everybody's favorite well-known character from the DC universe that they can introduce as easily, Cyborg.
I feel like Cyborg is one of those characters. Like, just my basic comics knowledge feels like Cyborg is one of those characters that were like, we need to put somebody in the Justice League movie who's not the super famous character. Let's put Cyborg in.
Do you think they're like, do you know what kids like? Teen Titans Go. There's Cyborg in that. Put him in!
I mean, Teen Titans is pretty popular. I wonder if that was part of the... We're watching Soundwave.
I don't think he would be the one you take away. I think it would be like Raven.
I mean, I think also part of it was just like representation. If they weren't going to put like a Jon Stewart Green Lantern, you didn't want to have, you know, mostly white people. This is also a throwback to the end of BVS. Is the scene where we see Steppenwolf for the first time speaking to Luthor inside the old Kryptonian ship.
Oh, this is a thing. See, I saw a picture of this and I thought it was a new footage of putting Lex Luthor in this more.
I think it's in the Ultimate Edition, but not the theatrical cut, but I could be wrong about that.
Who is Willem Dafoe in this?
Willem Dafoe, remember, he's the trainer of Aquaman, from Aquaman.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It's Aquaman's buddy.
I know. Your favorite thing ever, your favorite best friend, Aquaman.
The best DCEU movie, a.k.a. Aquaman.
No. Even, like... I don't know. This honestly looks better underwater than it does in Aquaman.
No, Aquaman looks good underwater. Justice League is the one that looks bad.
Aquaman looks horrible underwater, and
you're so wrong.
Bubbly.
No, Aquaman looks amazing.
So we just seen all the mother boxes.
Yeah, this is essentially like a longer version of the original cut, which they had like barely touched on the fact that the mother boxes were in different locations.
I feel like we just like go there. We're just told they're there, right? And all these places.
It happens roughly like this, but it's much quicker. It's like jump to. There's one underwater. There's one with Themyscira. There's one with the humans. Like it's much more rushed.
I like that you can remember Themyscira, but you can remember Atlantis. So you said underwater.
I could remember.
We're just gonna call his underwater land. This is where Aquaman is from.
I think at the end of this, no, go ahead.
We're gonna rank the 6 best looking mother boxes. Is there 6? Did I make that up?
There's 3. I think you're talking about Infinity.
Damn it. They're the same thing.
Zack Ford is a complete shill for the MCU, and he's only here to hate on.
Honestly, somehow that's became somewhat true.
It is really interesting though, after watching the original cut today, to go back to Snyder's like color palette. This is much more grayed out than anything in Whedon's original version. I
think this looks good right now. I'm not always happy with it, so I'm wondering if it works in specific areas and settings, and maybe Themyscira is a better fit for it because it has like the 300 style.
I think it looks good with metal mostly.
Yeah,
like it's a good look with kind of bronzish gold colored metal. Like that looks.
That's why people thought he was a great director because he worked with a setting that it went well with 300.
Right, 300 is like weirdly like the Snyder movie that kind of works the best, almost because it plays so heavily into what he is good at. Like it asks him to make a comic book panel looking movie, which fits with his aesthetic. The problem is then he tries to make other movies that are more based in the real world, and it starts just looking weird. It's like, dude, not everybody is that grayed out all the time.
How many people named DJ, like who the kind in the crew, do you think are actual DJs? Is there enough DJs in the world? Should be a thing.
Is it a rule that you have to be an actual DJ if you call yourself DJ? I mean, this is very impressive.
No, it's just initials. It looks good.
This is a thing I always think is interesting.
Who's doing the score for this? It's not
Harry, isn't it
because
Harry
there's already
Gregson?
so much like hubbub with the score in the original one.
Oh, it's
Okay, they
what's his
redid the
name?
whole score. It was Junkie XL before, right?
It was Junkie XL and somebody else, maybe Zimmer working together.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look this up. I do think it's interesting though. Sometimes my criticism of Snyder is that when he makes his longer version of his movies, he adds stuff in that you don't necessarily need to see, but he takes out stuff that you do. Like he's not always very good at figuring out how to pare down his movies.
Like he
So it's
needs
gonna
an
be interesting.
editor.
I think he needs an editor. He needs a writer because it feels like a lot of it is not just, it's not just an editing problem. It's the way he storyboards his, he sketches his stories out. You can't edit out the stuff that you should edit out after you've already gotten past the filming stage.
I would say like this already watching, sad Batman in his great hoodie up mountains is like it's pretty. It's already been way too long. Like if
Yeah,
if this is like a Terrence Malick movie and you're doing a meditative movie about a man in mountains, this works. But for a superhero movie, you're dragging out the length more than it needs to be.
yeah. In the original, this is literally like you see him on a horse, you see him looking down, and then you see him in the village, and that feels like a better use of time.
Yeah.
Like we don't
It should
necessarily
just
need to. It's not Lord of the Rings. You don't need to see him walk all the way across the different mountains. Like I feel like this just doesn't help as much.
maybe just establish, place, location. Oh, so this is when he's looking for Aquaman. This is all gonna be
Yes,
me trying to remember at all anything
yes.
about the original.
Except in the original version, it's like he's just straight inside the bar asking for Aquaman, and Aquaman's right there, so they just jump straight to it.
Where
Um,
are they? I should live there. It's cloudy.
I believe
It's
it's.
cold.
I believe it's. I think it's Iceland, maybe.
They have great sweaters, like really great sweaters. I should have an Iceland.
Yeah. It says somebody named Tom Holkenborg. Oh, it's Junkie XL is the
All right, he
Dutch
is
composer
good.
who did this.
We may have had a half pause. I thought would have just functioned for me. It didn't even work. I was trying to put subtitles for me.
Oh,
He looks good. Ben Affleck with a beard. No one's better.
that's another thing in the first one. You can really sell. You can really tell like this was like the real rough patch of Snyder of Affleck's life because some of the shots he's clean shaven, but you can kind of see that he's a little bloated, like he's been maybe drinking a little too heavily and like having some problems. So like he's inconsistent, like physically his appearance is inconsistent. Shots show.
Yeah. That guy doesn't even have a beard. He shouldn't even be in Iceland.
He really doesn't have the beard or hair to be an Icelander. I think we should all disagree. But also Icelanders were sexy, and this guy is not sexy.
I feel like the main thing Jason Momoa can't pull off is being named Arthur Curry.
I mean, I think it's
Thing.
okay. At least they're not trying to do the. I'm just glad that they didn't do the stupid like blonde haired, blue eyed Aquaman. You see some of
They
the
should have
comics.
dyed his hair blonde. And
Oh dear
that
lord,
would be
don't do that.
okay. I do think, although Aquaman does the character doesn't work for me, mainly because I don't think Jason Momoa is a great actor. I want to still stay here because it's Iceland, and the whole movie should just be taking place in Iceland.
I mean, I think he works as Aquaman. I don't think he's necessarily a good actor. I think he definitely works as Aquaman.
This is pre-Aquaman, right?
Yes, Aquaman is the next one that comes out after.
So he doesn't even know he has like powers at this point. Like he just kind of like gets it.
No, he does.
Doesn't know anything else.
No, he
but
does.
He doesn't know his past, right?
I think he knows some of it.
I'm really confused about the timeline of it because he gets introduced to Atlantis in Aquaman, but they go to Atlantis in this movie.
I think the events of Justice League happen in the middle of the events of Aquaman. Like the events when he's younger happen before Justice League. The events, like the actual pivotal events at the end and stuff, happen after.
That's perfect storytelling. Just throw everything clashing against each other.
This is in Iceland.
This is not Iceland? Where is it?
No, this is Iceland.
Oh.
Dujapik. Dujapik Avik or something.
Did you know this because you recognized the Icelandic song they're singing? You're like, that's definitely Iceland.
No, I was looking at the cast list earlier, and I noticed that there's a bunch of people that sound like they're Icelandic.
Even in this little Iceland chorus, they still have the one tryhard that's singing so much bigger than everyone else. She's like, I am the lead in my world.
I do think it's a little weird that they're like, Iceland is the place that Aquaman goes. Like, that just feels... Is Iceland the place when you think of, God of the ocean, like God of the ocean?
Did you all pay for this?
Probably.
They had to. I definitely should get a U-Haul now. I'm moving soon. I probably should get a U-Haul. This is a good idea. Thanks for being on here, U-Haul.
Maybe we'll get sponsored by U-Haul.
Is this like a big deal that they revealed his middle name, or is this canon?
I do not. I'm pretty sure that's canon.
Clark Joseph. I hope that every comic at one point is just someone asking, like, I'm going to guess your middle name. What letters to start with? It's Joseph.
Clark Joseph Kent. I do think the whole like mom lose her house thing after her son dies is an interesting like sort of nothing storyline that they put in.
Yeah. And I think that is the example of how Zack Snyder thinks his images have so much more emotional impact than they do. Like seeing the house of the foreclosure sign is supposed to devastate us in Zack Snyder's world, but we're like, okay.
Yeah.
But for real, is Batman Ben Affleck secretly top 5 best looking Afflecks? His hair's all blown in the wind. The guy looks good.
He's pretty good.
He's pretty good
looking. I mean, go back to BBS in the Ultimate Edition. They add like him weightlifting and like him like naked showers, and you get like bat butt and everything. Man's really showing off. I think one of the biggest things with the whole
the Martha Kent month. Is this gonna happen?
I'm down. We can do Ben Affleck.
Oh shit! This song is great. I'm trying to remember what it is, but it's something I love.
I think my problem with the whole Martha Kent and then Lois problem is this: I don't like Snyder and Cavill's Superman very much, so I'm like very not emotionally engaged with them. So even like banking the emotional heart of this movie around Superman to me just kind of is not ever going to work that well, just because I don't care about that character in the first place.
I'm very upset I can't identify what song this is. This is a song I love, and I'm not determined to figure out what it is.
You just Google it,
I am. Oh, okay. It's Nick Cave. I would have got it from this. I am wondering if this song came out after the original Justice League, which would be a funny thing to do. Yeah, it came out in 2016 because on Skeleton Tree. It's just his album about his son dying. So
I guess
we'll
totally
see
it
how.
fits then.
So it fits a bit with losing. Really, one of the
Losing
most
it.
devastating albums you can listen to, but you'll never listen to it, so it doesn't matter. You can listen to it now.
No.
You listen to it right now. It's great. Take in the beauty. This is the best way for me to listen to music with you is to get you to watch movies that have good songs.
This is true. This is true.
Nick Cave does a lot of movie scores. Like he did Assassination of Jesse James, and
Well, he just has that. He has a soulful quality,
yeah,
kind of melancholy that I think would fit with a lot of, lonesome movies and stuff like that.
he did a great kind of concert documentary around the time of this album of him recording these songs. It's one of the most heartbreaking concert movies you can watch. It's not really a concert because they're just like performing in a studio, but
So this is like one of the first shots and parts of the movie that seems to be directly from the original, directly from the Whedon version.
Is this when you get like a lot of crotch of Wonder Woman in the bank? Or
yeah, one thing I think I've noticed is there's a real difference between Jenkins directing Wonder Woman and like any other person.
Think of the movies that these directors would have made if they existed 20 years ago. Like Zack Snyder would have his bank heist movie if he was the director in the 90s.
Zack Snyder is this fascinating career perspective that I don't think you're ever going to truly understand because he's a guy who's made a bunch of really high budget movies, but has never been that successful, but just consistently gets more of them.
They make money.
But most of them are probably not that profitable and potentially lose money for the studios because they're so expensive.
Yeah. It also seems like he has a lot of trust. Like he almost has like a blank check. He kind of does what he wants. Other than, didn't get this cup that was not out of his hands. It was life circumstances.
Yeah, but like I feel like if we're being honest, if the tragedy doesn't happen in his family, we're probably getting, not the 4-hour cut of this movie. We're probably getting the 2.5-hour cut of this movie, but we would have gotten it years ago. So this is extended.
Okay.
Because
why can't he shoot him? Because kids are in there.
They've got hostages.
Oh.
And then that's when we get back to the stuff. This is a longer extended shot of something that's originally in it. But it's one of the kind of classic superhero things where, like, we're going to have something bad happen so the superhero has something to do and come in and fix it.
It's like the opening of every superhero movie to introduce them.
Yes. Yeah.
It's in Wonder Woman 84 of her breaking into the mall. But that has, like, plot purpose, too. But
yeah. This is, like, an interesting run of, like, very, very similar stuff. It is a little bit darker visually, but it's somewhat of the same concepts as what they were doing in the original, just with some extended shots in between. So we haven't necessarily seen anything that's that different from the original version so far.
I really still feel like it's totally different because the speed is very different.
Yes. Well, I mean, yes, it's taking longer to do it, but it's not necessarily changing the story in that impactful ways. Except in the Whedon movie, this really would have occurred like 8 minutes in, and it's occurring like 21.
I will say, like, the rope right now looks pretty good and tangible. In 84, it looks completely just like animation.
Yeah, they did a better job, even in the original version as well, and like the other ones, of making it look like an actual rope that just was really cool, rather than like
a shiny rope. It's an official name, shiny rope.
And this is
what is that?
Extremely extended slow motion version of the shots.
But whatever the score is doing right now is horrible. Why are they giving her like this Middle Eastern
singing in the background?
To get to her theme? It's a weird start to the theme.
Well, I mean, I feel like it felt like that they didn't necessarily need to do the slow-mo shot to start the scene, and so they were forced to come up with a.
Wait, Wonder Woman's not super fast, right?
No, she is. Don't you remember the No Man's
Okay.
Land scene?
And that's just I thought that was just her running normal speed.
No,
Like
she's
she's
very. She
fast,
no.
but this is like the Flash.
I think it's
Why do
because
you
they're
need?
shoot.
Okay,
It's so much. This is just like one of those things. That, like
style.
if you're watching a Snyder movie, it's just gonna happen. Like you can't really. He's gonna do everything slow mo.
It just makes it less impressive when the Flash comes in. Like, why does he move fast? If Superman moves fast, Wonder Woman moves fast.
Yeah,
Like the reason Quicksilver is impressive in the X-Men movies is because you haven't seen anything like it before.
and it's like they selectively use the slow mo bit with the
Yeah.
songs in a way that works more narratively. There's so much slow mo. Like a little bit too.
See,
This is goofy.
this is
This is
when
goofy.
they don't because they don't have like the facial acting to carry that like drama of
Also,
it.
I contend that this is a completely ridiculous scene, and there's no way she could block all those bullets with her gauntlets. I think it's a little
I've done
goofy.
it. I've done it.
I
You can
think the
speak for
slow
yourself.
mo and then the scene is a little bit goofy.
It is
And
really
then
goofy.
I also don't
And
understand
the like
his
the,
reaction of just living like randomly pausing. Why wouldn't he keep shooting? Like what? Okay, he needs a new clip, but like, why would you wait 30 seconds to reclip?
but even the reclip, like Zack Snyder thought was so cool because he slow mo's to watch the clip fall out and for him to reload. Why is that in slow mo?
I also think this is again goes to the problem that Snyder sometimes has with these heroes, where he has them do something so large they don't understand like the consequences of their heroics. Like she could have stopped that guy without have causing all that devastation that just happened.
It seems like he just thinks that he can build tension in an action scene by using the slow mo, and that like adds drama. When really, it just kind of takes you out of it and pauses the thrills of the action.
Well, it also he feels like I think one thing I've always been critical of him is he tries really hard to make stuff look cool, but it comes off as really like try hard, like
Yeah,
he's working too hard to make it happen. And like
we also
he could just let Wonder Woman fight, and it would be really cool because it's Wonder Woman fighting. But it feels like he has to like try to emphasize it in a way that actually negates what he's trying to show.
everyone in superhero movies action movies, I understand this, but I just want to say, like, all those girls will be bald in their eyes right now. They just been through a traumatic experience. They're like, chill, we're good. Thank you, Wonder Woman. All's
Okay,
fine.
this is the scene from the original version where the Queen
They
Hippolyta
lose to
finally finds out about the mother box and how it's having problems. They didn't have the scene earlier.
why are they called mother boxes? That sounds like a sex toy.
I don't know. It's one of these. It's like one of these comic things that somebody put it in a comic book 40 years ago, so now they can't change it.
Yeah. Is there
It
father
is.
boxes? Do
It
they
is
have baby
interesting though.
boxes?
It's going to be really interesting when somebody does the side by side of the shots that are in both movies, and you can just watch
Yeah.
like the colors that are not in the Snyder movies.
Yeah. I want to rub my hand through their helmet so bad.
It does look pretty great, right?
That's pretty fun.
I
mean,
I feel like that's designed for after battle, right? You have a really stressful battle, and then you have this really like
yeah.
it's like the stress ball effect on your helmet.
You just like rub your face into it, calm yourself down.
Yeah.
You brush each other's hair with it. They come out of the mother boxes. They need some explanation. I assume they do at some point. But what these mother boxes are doing.
I believe it's drawing Steppenwolf to them. It's not that they're coming out of it. It's drawing
Why are
Steppenwolf
they?
to them.
Did they? Do they know the power of it? Like, why are they watching it? Or are they just like, this is
Yes.
a weird box, let's keep it?
They weirdly don't explain this till later, but they were given, like, everybody knows what they are. That's why they're guarded by the specific people who have them.
I feel like because it's such a gooey thing, like it's a magic box, you need some kind of explanation earlier for me to care.
They completely redid him.
Because like the Infinity Stones work because they like make it make sense pretty quickly.
Well,
Otherwise,
they
it'll be
also
like this
don't.
like
They also
silly
don't. They
totem.
also don't tell you they're Infinity Stones till a lot later.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but you
I will
understand
admit,
like their powers and which one
yeah.
is, and
Well, because they introduce them individually, and then at some point they go, "Yeah, these things are all Infinity Stones together." I will say this is a much better look for Steppenwolf. He's
who
more interesting.
who plays Steppenwolf? Is there anyone that?
It's Kieran Hines.
Oh, got it. Okay. Okay,
I
this
will
looks
say,
bad.
I think the
It's
Snyder
too
action
dark.
scenes look better. It's not well lit, but it's from an actual fight choreography basis. It's more interesting.
Oh, that's where I think it looks bad. I think it's messy, and I have no idea what's happening. There's just a lot, too much happening. Nothing's clear.
Yeah, but
There's
the
just like
original
light
version,
flashes everywhere.
those are weapons.
I know, but I
The
can't see things because there's flames in my way.
No, I mean I agree from the perspective. I don't think it's well lit. I do think it's more interesting visually to watch than what was in the original, which was much quicker and like less involved. Like
I do like their dog pyro approach to fighting Steppenwolf. It's like, let's all
yeah.
just climb on him in a pile. Some real fifth grade fighting material there. Oh my gosh, that chanting's back again.
Yeah, I don't know what that is for.
It's supposed to be like emotionally driving, I think.
See, this is the part that I think like, why are they having a conversation? In the original, they just like she just goes to sealing it. Which I get it. This is a pretty cool way to seal it.
My mind is backtracking a little bit, and I'm wondering if Nick Cave is a huge DC fan. Do you think he was a Snyder Cut Twitter bro? Nick Cave's on there. I need the Snyder Cut.
This is definitely much more involved than the original fight was.
That was just to show off those abs. Close up
Yeah.
on that woman's abs. I was impressed. They're nice abs.
The problem, I mean, it's like it's at some levels, it's nice to get more involved action scenes, and then it always feels like it goes on a little bit too long.
I think it's the slow mos because
There's
it
too
takes
much
you
slow
way
mo.
out of it.
It's also frustrating because there's clearly a sense of urgency that they need, but because of the slow mo, you get less urgency. Wow, this is not in the original at all. They just sealed it and she ran. They did not try to dump it into the ground.
This is like
Okay.
straight up Iron Man's house falling into the ocean, though. It's the same shot.
Roughly, yes. I will admit this is the first major change I think we've seen so far. So that's at least interesting.
Do you want to get money for a big boat and find the Fallen Themyscira in the ocean?
Are you saying this? I mean, what would we do if we found it?
Titanic 2 is about them digging for the lost Themyscira.
I don't understand why you would have your character stare off a cliff if there's like a problem. Like this feels not not like the best time to be doing this?
Because you're sad, and whenever you're sad, you need to stare at water. Do you not do
But
this?
this is another problem I've always had with Snyder. Is like there are moments where it's like you're having your characters act in a way for like a feeling for your audience or a look, but it doesn't make sense from a narrative perspective with your characters. Well,
No.
congratulations, you stood at a dumb cliff, and now there's bad guys, and they're ahead of you.
It also just doesn't match tonally what you should be doing with the movie. Like, I'm not coming to this for moments of existential crises where you stare off in the abyss and wonder about what's next.
Especially not when a bad guy just attacked you.
I will admit, horse.
Steppenwolf is much better in this version. Like he does a lot more, like physically, and he looks better from the render and just like the armor.
Yeah, I would say, like, in my memory, he looks more like he belongs in this plane, at least, not like he's just crafted on top of it.
Yeah. Well, he's also looking more impressive. In the original, he just shows up, and you're like, why is he so impressed by this guy? He's now doing more stuff that's interesting. Like, that's a cool shot.
Is he like a porcupine? Is his whole body really sharp?
I think it's his armor.
Like, you touch him, you start to bleed, right? It's his whole body. Do you know what I want in my big action movies? I want all the minions to be identifiable and different instead of all these samely designed. I understand why you do it, but they're all the same exact design, identical minion army. But they all have different faces. I want to know what their favorite foods are. I want to see their resumes, is what I'm asking.
Also, can we just take a second? You can't shoot an arrow while lying on the ground. That's not going to work.
It's just not. That you think you're an arrow expert. Is this a secret knowledge about you? You know all about the best. Are you really into archery?
I used to shoot archery when I was a kid. I'm just telling you, you're going to have real trouble getting any power on any shot if you lied. I used to do archery.
You used to shoot archery as a kid, like as a hobby, like after school. You were an archery club?
No, my club. I just like had a bow.
It's not a thing. What?
It's a weird thing.
Who owns a bow? You hunt?
Like Dick's Sporting Goods.
Are you a hunter?
No, I was not a hunter. It was like a.
So it sounds.
I like how she shoots the second one after the first one just like has no effect.
Arrow nuts him. Okay.
I have to.
Do you think Steppenwolf just needs a hug? I think he just needs a hug.
Maybe.
Yeah. They never try to solve the conflicts with sensitivity and love. Just give him a hug. Tell him it's okay. Tell him his father is proud of him.
I will have to say, I say in superhero movies, like one of the things that I think that they're going to keep doing because it's just like it's very classic comic books, but the like horde, the army horde of all the same looking things has always been boring, and it will always be boring.
That's like one of the worst things in the MCU too. And Infinity War, the horde of identical alien, whatever they're called.
Oh yeah,
this is where we know where keep account of how many times we gotta say whatever it's called, so people can really know what experts we are.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what those things are called. I don't remember those. The problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's.
I must say, I do like this horse sound. I'm not an ASMR person, but if I was doing ASMR sounds of horse galloping, I'm in.
All right. Good to know.
Yeah, that sounds good.
So this is interesting. They've kind of reached the same place the original does. They just took like 20 extra minutes doing it.
Yeah. I'm gonna we're fading into part 2, which is gonna be Beer O'Clock. I'm going to say why I'm on ASMR. I was eating celery while my kids were supposed to be quietly working. I did not realize what a mistake that would be.
Yeah, I mean, what
They
kind
were
of dick are
also like,
you?
they were like weirdly way into it. And I was like, you fucking freaks. Stop being into the sound of
Your poor
celery.
kids your poor students are trying to like pay attention to their work, and you're like chomp and chomp over like a horse.
Yeah. I was just trying to exhibit good dietary habits.
Nice. Do you want me to come to your? Do you want me to come talk to your classroom about how awesome energy drinks are?
No. What was the name of part 2? Did you catch it?
Age of Heroes, I believe.
Okay.
I will admit, the one thing so far I would say they are not necessarily doing a lot of new stuff. What the biggest thing they're doing new is they're really setting up Steppenwolf a lot better.
I think the biggest thing is 40 minutes of the movie, you haven't just seen Batman once in the original one.
Yeah. Well, they start with more Batman. Like, he's the one who finds the paradigms. Also, can we just collectively boo the fact that he just shaved his beard off? We wanted bearded Batman.
I know. He ruined his whole look. He's. Why can't Bruce Wayne have a beard in public? He's a sad guy. Sad guys have beards.
I will say, on rewatching the DCU, I really do like Affleck's Batman.
Yeah. I mean, it's, I think, a large part based on the look, though. He just has a great Bruce Wayne look.
Well,
he looks like a sad rich guy because he is a sad rich guy. He's the only like Batman that his real like life persona can really be pushed into it.
It really does feel like that at times. Irons is also good, so.
Irons is the one that like most likely definitely was like a military fighter, which I think Alfred's supposed to be. He's the most believable, and like he would have some skills himself. Michael Caine, I don't go for it.
Well, I mean, I think Caine is also at a significantly older period of his life than Irons is.
Yeah, yeah. Which is weird because this is supposed to be the older Batman, and we got a much younger Alfred.
What is the age gap between those two?
Look it up!
That's what I'm doing. Fun fact, Jeremy Irons is not one of...
And vamp, share it. I gotta get a beer.
I'm vamping. We're talking to Cyborg, who is not one of my favorite people. It's kind of very similar to stuff in the original. It is interesting after watching these in the same day, trying to figure out like what's different. I mean, obviously you've got the Snyder aesthetic versus the Whedon aesthetic, but probably the biggest thing is so far as Steppenwolf. But the rest of it, really, not that many crazy differences.
If I was braver, I wanted to be quiet for a real long time and see how long it took you to worry.
For the record, Michael Caine is 16 years older, 88 to 72.
Oh, that's not the age difference I wanted to know. I want to know Affleck and Irons to know if he could realistically raise him.
Yeah, I think because Affleck's either late 40s, early 50s. Affleck, I think, looks older.
Okay. Affleck is 48. Or, yeah, 48.
Yeah. Yeah, so 24.
Okay, no. Alfred needs to be older than that.
Well, not really, because if you think about it, he didn't really take over Bruce full time until Bruce was like 10 or 12 when his parents died.
Yeah.
So we're talking about like in his 30s, which is like a somewhat reasonable age for him to have been in the military, come back, and then taken up working for the House of Wayne. So this is when they're going to light this like torch thing, so they can tell Diana that the world's on fire. In the movie, in the original, they just kind of do it. I don't know why we
Yeah.
have to show that there's a famous box with the arrows and like this does not necessarily feel narratively important.
I get a little bit. It's still world development. They still want to. Part of the purpose of this movie is to bring the whole world together, make it seem bigger, add to the lore of it all. This adds to the lore.
I mean, I guess I don't. I think that there's stuff in the original that like they clearly could have explained better. Like, what are the mother boxes? I hope they will go more in depth into what that is. I didn't necessarily really need to know anything more than like this tells Diana that the world invasion is coming.
I just like don't. They take everything so serious. Can't they just have a laugh? Someone like has to be funny. Someone should tell a joke.
Well, I think that the problem with that is that um, Snyder just does not seems to like his characters are not humorous.
No, there's not
And
human. It's not human to me. I can't look that serious for longer than 5 seconds.
well, it's also like one of the things that's funny about the Whedon Justice League is that it's a bunch of characters that you seem to be super serious the entire time, suddenly making jokes for the first time.
Oh man, I really hope we see this arrow fly through like every continent. You see it go over the savannah, go over the Arctic. No, that was boring. They could have done more. I want the Arrows World Tour.
That would have been interesting.
That would have been
fly over the
horrible.
fly over
But,
the Eiffel
like,
Tower.
Expected by Snyder. We're at the Louvre. I just watched all Da Vinci Codes. The Louvre means a lot to me. But she works at the Smithsonian. Why is she at the Louvre? Nothing makes sense. I guess it's the 80s she works at the Smithsonian.
Yeah, I don't remember which one she works at the end of Wonder Woman.
I thought it was the Smithsonian.
This is basically the same scenes in the original, except for a little bit extra dialogue from the old white guys in the background.
Oh, I guess she has to keep changing jobs because so people don't realize she doesn't age. But also, like, she's working at all the biggest like places and huge roles. Like, they're gonna recognize her.
Maybe she's just working intentionally with old people so they die and they get replaced, and the old people who replace them don't realize it.
She should be working at more low key positions and facilities.
Yeah.
At the Louvre. Okay, now we get me on the cyborg shit, right?
Yeah, it's really good. That's what's getting really excited.
I do think that Cyborg being like a high school football star is one of the silliest superhero origins to me.
Well, it sounds like Flash Gordon.
Okay. It's what I majored in, xenoscience.
This is like all new.
That's really ugly ship. Just like, I don't know. I assume they spend like billions of alien money on making a ship. You still want it to look nice.
So, Krypton was a very gray world if you go back to Man of Steel. I guess what they're trying to do
maybe
here
that's top style. It's very modern for Krypton. The picture is a real bat. That's a bat face.
Well, the picture is supposed to be one of the parademons, not Batman.
Oh, okay. It still looks like a bat. So now it's confusing.
Yeah, it is a little bit. I think the point of that was just to like show that the ship still exists, so that when they try to use it later, it'll make sense.
This is this like angsty as shit, and that was the problem with Cyborg, and the other one is super like Teen Mo is me. I guess he became a robot, but like, chill, you're a robot, and that's like kids' dreams.
The worst part of it in the original is just like he goes from being this guy who hates everything about his change to just being like, yeah, I'll use my powers, and like there's no, it just happens randomly.
He's really, because he's a teenager, he's just worried he's not gonna get fucked, right? He's like, now I'm a robot, no woman's gonna want to fuck me.
It's probably a potential option he's worried about.
Otherwise, like, you get cool stuff. Just embrace it.
I feel like it's weird that Diana would have to go find the arrow rather than just being like, oh, it's lit on fire, this must say something.
But by the way, the chance there, because the arrow is very important and very dramatic. She found the arrow.
Yeah.
I understand the petting of the arrow, though. That's how I touch everything. You gotta rub it. She about to hunt some vampires?
She gonna throw. Wait, did she just do that in heels?
Yeah.
Because those heels would have broken. I'm sorry. Those heels are not super. Those heels are not Wonder Woman. They would break.
Oh, there's an arrow in the wall. That would be like the least exciting picture to find.
This is definitely new. This is completely new stuff. Yeah. Interesting.
That's like a bad secret door. You don't make your code to your secret door being an easily found arrow to place in an obviously arrow-shaped thing.
And maybe there's something magical about the arrow in particular that makes it unique.
I'm just saying anyone could have found that arrow and put the arrow in there.
Yeah, but could anyone have jumped down in high heels?
See, this is a lot of looking at signs that we're supposed to like see her solving the puzzle and be interesting, but Zack Snyder doesn't realize that we don't know what any of these pictures mean. So this is 3 minutes of us just being confused. I guess we recognize the parademons, but otherwise it's nonsense for 3 minutes.
Right. You need to have some. Awareness. Somebody needs to be explaining this to her, or she needs to explain it to somebody else. There needs to be.
Or be more recognizable information to us. We need to be able to understand what this is from some kind of back knowledge.
To be fair, it's not even that helpful, even if we recognize it. Because it's like, okay, Darkseid has been. This is Darkseid, maybe. I think it's Darkseid, not Steppenwolf. But like, we already knew that these characters were, like, they had a historical past in the universe. And then we just cut to this.
I don't know. I like boat wrecks. I'm into this. It's like Perfect Storm. We should just watch Perfect Storm. Maybe I really am in a boat wrecks. I love Titanic. I might be a sucker for this stuff.
Are we doing boat wrecks month?
Oh God, yes.
Boat destruction.
Titanic, all is lost. Perfect Storm. We need one more.
We could do like a whole month on like water. We should just do movies in the water.
We were going to do boat month. It didn't get. No one voted for it.
It would have been so much better.
No one voted for it. No one wanted it. It was by far the lowest.
Yeah. What I would really like to do is do just 3 months of movies in water base. We could have boats. We could have, sharks. We could have just all the fun stuff.
Okay. I thought you ran out of ideas at boats.
No. We could have like boats. We could have navy. We could have like pirates. There's so much fun stuff.
Does ice count? Or being frozen? Or does it have to be liquid water?
Well, is that technically? I feel like she sort of freezes the ocean and also sort of freezes just like shit up in the mountains.
I'm so confused about this music choice.
Yeah, it's
like see
where's the
him in
badass?
Ice
This
and
is supposed to,
Imagine Piano Music.
isn't this supposed to be badass, not like kind of goofy?
Well, I think he's like drunk and sad, but it just doesn't fit with the scenery.
I thought this was supposed to be badass. He just chugged an entire thing and threw it down. That seems like he's trying to be badass.
It's just in the cave again. I think Zack Snyder must be a big Nick Cave fan.
Maybe.
But it worked a lot with the sad, missing Superman and mourning the death. This does not work.
This is really weird. This is in the original with a very different song choice that I think works way better.
That look is also pure like shower gel commercial.
Yeah, this is like goofy. This looks like an ad for, Just for Men or something.
I would buy the soap though.
Aquaman is the best. Just thinking all over. We get more fish. Always good. Team fish.
He hasn't talked to Fish enough though. There needs to be more fish action.
Octopus. We got octopus. Octopus rule.
I do think this looks better than Aquaman. It looks more real. It doesn't look like separate images plastered on each other.
I need to rewatch Aquaman, I guess.
Is Willem Dafoe in the original Justice League?
This part is not. I don't think he's in the original.
Okay. Willem Dafoe is definitely a frog, right? That somehow got kissed and transformed into a human.
Potentially. I mean, he's pretty awesome. I feel like we should all just love Willem Dafoe.
He's just very reptilian. I don't mean this as a diss. I think it's very important to his career how reptilian he is. And not dumb. I know a frog is an amphibian, but a combination of reptilian and amphibian.
He's just super unique.
Yeah.
He had something about his eyes and the way he talks. Sort of Gollum-y.
Yeah, he should have been Gollum. They don't even have to.
You don't need mocap. Maybe just put some makeup on.
Just like, just do some height things.
Yeah, this is weird that this is in this movie because this is also stuff that ends up happening in the actual Aquaman.
Yeah, it makes no sense. Well, I think Zack Snyder thinks only his depiction of the universe matters and the other movies don't really count unless they follow his lead.
Yeah. Well, this is also the weird thing about watching this now is that we're not watching. This movie is in the 2017 timeline, but we've already seen 4 more movies that completely break with the Snyder tone and color palette. I mean, if you look at Aquaman and Shazam and Birds of Prey and Wonder Woman 84, those are much. Those are much like brighter, funnier movies.
But don't you think the familiarity we have now with the other movies helps, though? Like, now it doesn't seem like an abrupt introduction of Aquaman, and we know Wonder Woman more now at this point, that we have familiarity with their world, so it's just not as confusing.
I guess, but also that experience is supposedly after this movie.
Yeah.
Who is this?
I like that Steppenwolf is still sure that he doesn't want his penis to be seen. Got a nice little loincloth. Or loin metal. I guess not cloth. Loin spikes.
Loin spikes. Loin spikes.
That guy's just a statue. That's not a character.
No, I think he's the speaking version of that thing that holds the mother box.
Okay. Look at that face. He really just wants
better.
love. He just wants love.
He looks way better in this.
He looks good. I like the design.
And
I
also,
like the sharp.
You got to give it credit because this makes.
Okay, that is going to be all about like a gambling debt. You owe the Great One $50,000 more.
Cupcakes.
Vince Worlds. I guess he owes them whole planets.
Yeah.
What do they do with the planets? Is it really just like when to make your payment due?
The mother boxes, when combined, can do this thing that'll transform any world into his original home world.
Got it.
This also,
does he have
I'll give him credit.
50 mother boxes?
No, he just has the 3. But I think they can do the same thing in a bunch of different places. I will give him credit. This makes a lot more sense. Like his plan in the original is kind of half baked and not really ever elaborated on. This seems to be significantly more detailed.
Yeah. Everything is metal, and it really affects the look. I see some flowers. Bruce Wayne needs some flowers in his cave.
You want your bats to have some flowers in the bat cave?
Just need some color. They're all wearing black. Like, I'm a big fan of purple. Ben Affleck will look great in a purple shirt right now. I really don't wear black, and I don't know if that makes me cool or not cool. I can't tell.
Well, it certainly makes you not a fascist, so feel good about that.
Okay. I would try really hard not to be a fascist. Wait, is that the guy from 300? That's straight up Gerard Butler from 300.
No, that's some other dude.
He looks way too similar. It's the same CGI to
That's
abs.
Ares. Ares looks really goofy because I think I looked this up. It's the body of somebody else with his head.
Yeah.
Okay, this is.
So they came and said, "Hey, can you babysit our mother boxes?"
No, they tried to take over before. Basically, this is basically the opening of Fellowship of the Ring.
Remember, I know nothing about Lord of the Rings.
Basically, armies of different people came together to fight off an enemy.
Got it. That's the classic superhero shot of someone jumping out of a plane and landing with a big earthquake. Sexy.
I believe this is Darkseid.
Look at those chunky. There's chunky fingers. Look at those chunky
What's
fingers.
up with his
That's
pecs?
Darkseid.
I have questions on his pecs.
Okay. Here's the thing. Darkseid though is like the Thanos, right? Like he's the big bad.
Yeah, he's a much
turns it off.
A bigger.
Becomes out of this just like he's the muscle. You don't like lead with the leader coming out.
Yeah.
That makes him seem like he's just a muscle man to come out and intimidate before like Darkseid comes. Why is he in front? Seems like bad war strategy. That's all I'm saying. And they could have attacked him before all these ships arrived.
Because that's what unity means.
I don't know. That's all stupid. There's like
why is
magic
Genghis
boxes.
Khan's guys here?
Why didn't they just make the magic boxes together in the first place?
Oh, I guess the idea is these are the got men Atlanteans.
Warriors, yeah.
You got some gods.
They have no superhero.
There's a lantern.
That's a Green Lantern.
There's a lantern.
Oh, okay.
A lantern.
It seems like this should have been the end of a chapter. I don't know.
I feel like this should have been earlier.
At the beginning, yeah.
Like, I feel like this would have been helpful to give us this information not an hour into the movie.
The cold open. If this was a cold open, it would be effective.
Right. You want to, because you need to know this information to understand why Steppenwolf is attacking. What are these characters? Why are we defending these things?
Do you think this is just like practice to see if Green Lantern, action would work on screen? Said they died quickly. He has a breathing problem. He is just constantly exhaling grunts.
Nice shot of Zeus's abs.
What power does that guy have?
Zeus. That's Zeus right there.
Oh.
And that's Ares.
I don't get that. Zeus is the one that looks like Gerard Butler, I think.
Yes. And Ares we saw in Wonder Woman.
Okay, this could introduce Hercules, which is an actual... No, that's Marvel. Never mind. Marvel. Hercules is a Marvel character, yeah.
So they take Darkseid back. He's injured. So this is pretty cool.
You can't say that guy does not look like he's from 300, but with lightning.
No, he definitely does.
Okay. I feel like Zack Snyder just likes that short haircut and beard look.
Yeah. This is really cool. I mean, I think this should have been at the beginning of the movie because I think it explains more then.
I think it works real well. And it helps set up the dramatic stakes a little more. Or how everyone's so involved, so we want everyone to get the community to come back together again.
Well, it makes sense why you would need a Justice League, because it's saying, well, if you needed all these different armies to build together, you definitely need something comparable to fight this time.
The battle cries, a little silly.
Yeah. But falls in line with most battle movies.
Military, yeah. Oh, I know. I'm just such an anti-military personality to be like, okay, that sucked. Let's go home.
You're like, how dare they celebrate winning a giant battle against aliens?
They're celebrating murder. They just murdered lots of poor aliens. They had their own lives, their own families. They're just trying to support their own planets. They're doing the same thing. Let's not celebrate.
Remember, you're the same guy who was like, we should think about the birds who almost took out Sully's plane.
I know. They also had their own families, their own lives. I do like a good hammer. There needs to be more hammers in movies.
I'll just say it, when they break all the pillars to seal it in, that was pretty cool.
That's disgusting. That's the octopus? Okay.
The Atlanteans are doing an octopus. That's pretty cool.
I still feel like putting it on a pedestal, not best security, right? You gotta put it in something.
I mean, I think they're
pretty up for grabs.
I guess it's really hard to get to Themyscira, so I think that's what they were hoping for. Is that it's safe?
Yeah. but still like on display, so like people can visit it.
True. So this is just kind of an extended sequence of this entire sequence is kind of was here roughly, but is extended now. I think the actual fighting is more interesting because of the extended. I don't think we necessarily need to see an extended putting mother boxes on plinths or in holes.
Yeah.
Also, that guy just seems evil. I mean, I feel like he's done something. He's like, "Can I use this?" People who say mean shit about me, can I like throw them in holes?
I kind of hate that picture always. It's an often the thing to like dig in a grave and throw the dirt on top
Oh, the
of
dirt
camera.
onto the camera. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the problems with Snyder's approach is that he wants to treat his shots and the stuff he's doing as really unique and interesting, but they've also been done in like 15 other movies and 7 other comic book movies, and it's like
I think
you can choose to use them, but just maybe don't play them as so unique or individual. Because if I can see it in 3 other Marvel movies and an X-Men movie, it's maybe not the most original shot ever. All right, we're on to part 3.
Oh, you get a slow-mo dog bark. Really necessary.
Oh, that's, I believe, that's supposed to be Iris West.
Who did not appear, right? She was going to be in the Flash movie, but didn't happen. See, I like his energy. I think it works. It's really weird for this energy to come in an hour and 10 minutes in the movie and be so different than everything you've seen before.
Well, doesn't this feel like a TV show? They're like, this is the Aquaman portion. This is the Splash portion.
Yeah. It's just when you hit, like, he's the comic relief, but that's supposed to be used a little more than this sparingly. It just makes you, like, miss out on where was this for the past hour.
So hamburger people are idiots is the moral of the story.
She better eat that hamburger, right?
I think he's about to try almost run her over.
So good. Oh, yeah. Because none of this is in the original, right? Because she's not in it.
No, she is not in the original. He is basically not seen until Batman goes to see him.
Yeah. Okay, that's her fault. That's horrible fucking driving. You gotta swerve, my friend. You gotta brake and turn. You would have missed it if you turned to the left just a little bit.
Also, I'm confused. In comics lore, they know each other. Like,
they work
not
together or something. I don't know. She's like is she a journalist like Lois Lane?
No. She's well, I think in some stories. She's also in some stories like part of his adopted family. Like he gets.
I don't know. Your sound has got real messed up.
Has it?
Okay, you're good. You're back to normal.
Like I think in some of the comics editions, he's adopted by her dad after after his dad goes to prison over the murder thing with his mom. And
I've read a fair bit of Flash comics actually, but like once you get like more than 10, you realize how contrived the Flash universes became. There's so much nonsense. Okay, that hot dog joke is real bad. Like she's like dying there, and he took a pause to put a hot dog in the pocket. It
Why?
just makes him look
I,
stupid.
this is interesting.
I'm really interested in the song choices. Like that kind of worked, but they're all very dramatic song choices. What is this? Is a dog store, but why is there stuffed animals?
Is it like
Just make it look good, I guess.
it's like dog daycare? I think that's what it says in the thing. What is the scene?
This is like water torture. There's like half drowning them
But are they
in
Atlanteans?
unison. No, it's the like parademons and Atlanteans. Yeah, they would be fine in the water, right?
I think that the intent was that they were yelling out because they were being dragged.
Yeah, okay. I do like the exhaling of his spikes, like as he breathes, they just kind of come out a little bit.
Yeah,
Makes it real textural.
agreed. Well, that's creepy.
Oh,
That's
look at that cutie! I'd have that spider as a pet.
like hacks into his brain. That's pretty cool, honestly.
Yeah.
This is actually like good stuff to add in this movie. This is interesting and makes the hunt for the mother boxes more interesting and
Yeah.
random and less just like they're just randomly showing up in the middle of like the famous civilizations.
Yeah, it was good. It makes it like more of a mystery. You can see them solving where to find the mother boxes, mommy boxes, the real name. But also that tech is just cool. It's nice to see cool
Yeah,
tech.
it looks cool, and it makes them the search more interesting than just it's not random anymore, which is what it feels like.
It's just it's when Zack Snyder thinks the emotional heft of his movies is so important and impactful is where they go wrong because he forgets that these movies are supposed to be fun. So showing us cool tech, having moments of humor with the Flash, this is when the movie can go right. But like now, her mourning about Superman, I think acts like we have more attachment to his death, and I also don't believe he's about to come back in about an hour and a half. Then I don't buy that.
Yeah,
Do you think Amy Adams knows that this Snyder cut exists? Do you think she just missed the news cycle?
I feel like Amy Adams is wishing she'd never done Lois Lane because she gets shafted in every one of these movies.
See, I don't know if Gal Gadot works for Zack Snyder's style because that hyper melodramatic style is
No,
not
I,
where she can carry it.
I think she works much better in Jenkins, where Jenkins just lets her be this beacon of hope and like
Yeah.
optimism, like that real like she doesn't necessarily understand the world, but she really just gets to be this kind of like I'm gonna save all these people because I can do that. Like I think that works.
He's a cyborg. It's like, that's his name. Take a drink.
Also, I get this movie is 4 hours long, but we're like an hour and 20 minutes into this movie, and we haven't even put the team together yet.
No, it's gonna happen at the halfway mark.
Like,
oh yeah, get to that football story. I'm gonna really care.
I will admit, anything they can do to make Cyborg like more interesting, I think is good because I find Cyborg to be utterly forgettable in the original.
I think the football part. Well, I know a little bit of the lore. The football part, I think, is what makes them not interesting. Like this is like, does it make you an empathetic being to me? I don't know. Maybe it's like biases towards high school athletes. It's like we're supposed to be this cool guy. Also, that's just not true. You can't be a captain in a certified genius. They don't buy it.
This was like bad parenting. You probably shouldn't reward your child for hacking into the system to change their country.
He just punched his crotch to get past him. Definitely just arm into the crotch. Wait, it's Gotham City versus all of Wisconsin?
Are they wearing Badgers uniforms, I think?
Okay.
That looks like a Badgers
university. So it's Gotham City University. Okay, I got it. I thought he was a high school player. Yeah. I feel like you would say UW. They won't put all of Wisconsin on there. Just by the way, I should be.
That's a Wisconsin jersey right there.
This is supposed to work against me then. This is my hometown.
Although, again,
currently.
Wait, I'm confused. If this is college, why on earth is his mother getting called into the principal's office?
Because he's a mama's boy. He can't handle his own issues. Or it's all a dream.
They don't call your mom in at college if you do something. They just like... they don't have a discussion with your mom.
Fantasy? It's a fantasy.
No, I don't think it's supposed to be.
Okay. Yeah, that's weird. And I think in comic book lore, it was high school. But either way, you're supposed to feel what a great guy he is for being good at the football game, and I could care 2 fucks. Only 2 fucks. 3 fucks too much.
How old is Ray Fisher?
You know, he's also too old to be sad about his dad not coming to his games. If it's college, it doesn't work.
Well, you
shouldn't be in your hometown. In this movie,
well, he's well, the actor is 33 years old now. Again, this is inconsistent. Like, is he high school? Well, like,
it was college. That was
well, it was a college.
It said GCU.
It was a college football game, but like he's riding around with his mom like he's a high school kid. And his mom is getting called to into the principal's office when he does something wrong, like you would with a high school student. Like, let's be real for a second. If I went into, it was in college, and I would have hacked the system to change my friend's grade in college, like they wouldn't call my mom in. They'd be like, "You are suspended, or you are kicked out."
I would have called my mom in.
Well, maybe you could have brought your mom. Your mom, it wouldn't be like the head person's going to talk to your mom.
Oh, there's my first yawn. Let's measure it. Hour 20 in. This last 2 hours could be rough. Just prepping you.
Oh my god! We break this into 2. We pause to and then restart for our second part of this. I may have to go get an energy drink. I'm not sure I'm gonna last.
I'm gonna eat some tortilla chips.
Ooh, good choice.
Wait, so he's secretly recording him? No. Oh, he recorded himself for him to listen. I got it. Some real mind technology there. A voice recorder. You could just send him a voice memo on his cell phone. He's a fucking robot. Just send your voice recording into his like mind computer. The tip of the tip. That's sexy.
So now we now have loin spikes and tip of the tip.
They said tip of the tip.
I find Cyborg's powers very confusing. Like, it sort of feels like he has whatever powers he wants.
Yeah, where is this like anti-gravity stuff coming from?
As a character, which is a character I don't necessarily love that much, because I feel like what makes characters fun in comic books is clear powers and weaknesses, and then like having to work around them.
Does he have an Infinity Stone in his head?
Maybe it's because I just don't know much about the character.
I don't know. This is all nonsense. This like computer world stuff means nothing. He also still wearing his leather jacket. Life means more than you being a football.
He's wearing it in some. This does not feel like something you should tell your kid. You can launch nuclear weapons with a thought.
No, he got rid of them. He said, no, nuclear weapons. He can rob all the banks. That's what he just said. I think he's just hurt the most from us just being introduced to him now. Like straight, like we're just like, here's a sad guy, but don't make him human enough for us to care beforehand. He needed a movie before.
Well, I mean, I think he also struggles because he's the least known actor in the entire thing. And we've been given so little about him. Like, his entire character doesn't like where he is now, is a crazy cyborg, used to play football. Yeah. Like, that's just not much.
He's sad robot boy. He's sad because he's a robot and he can't play football and he can't smooch a girl. That's who he wants to smooch, the waitress. That's what he said. Wait, I really said I'm much more interested in what that waitress's issues with the dirty plates was. She just kept shaking her head at the dirty plates. That's a better story. Let's go with that. Oh, sad football boy looking at a bunch of other sad people. Oh, it's still sad. Is this
his mom?
No, it was the waitress. We already saw his mom.
What?
He's just snooping on peeps.
Is it like eviction? They changed the locks already?
I think he's just like getting into watching people's drama.
Except he's also doing this in some kind of like fantasy thing. He's not real.
Well, he's like in his computer world.
So he can go in there and just make her super rich?
Yeah, none of this is in the original, right? Like, imagining what inside his computer mind is. He's looking at her at the bank.
So his idea is that he can go.
He can see her whole past by looking at her at the ATM. How do you know what cameras to look at? That's not.
I think they're attempting to describe how all-powerful he is, how many things he can control.
And what a sweet guy he is. Because he shared money with people.
Except everybody looks at him weird.
He's a rich kid. I don't care. He's a rich kid. He's a rich scientist kid. I don't have you don't have my sympathy. I don't think you're sweet.
Not a fan of that, clearly.
Mm.
Random homeless people.
Okay. Who is Billy Crudup in this?
He is Henry Allen. He is the Flash's father.
Okay.
Although
Which is also
supposedly,
part of the like crazy Flash lore, how he got like blamed for the death from other Flash.
Reverse Flash or whatever. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
Although I'm pretty sure that Billy Crudup was basically, I'm not doing those movies anymore. Probably because he filmed Justice League in 2017, and they still still don't have a Flash movie.
Is he just like a Zack Snyder boy? He's in Watchmen. He's in this. They have a thing.
Maybe
He's
like
also
a good dad character.
No, he does. You know my Billy Crudup issues. He never seems like a real person. He always seems like someone trying to act like a real person.
I think you're a person trying to act like a real person.
I definitely, and I'm failing horribly. But Billy Crudup is great, and Almost Famous. It's one of my favorite performances. I think
he's pretty good in most things.
I don't know. I can't do it. He never seems fully into the character. I don't know.
This is one of the I feel like this is just one of those weird things everybody has.
Yeah.
Like I don't think you have necessarily a super rational argument to explain why you don't like Billy Crudup. You're just like it's just one of those he doesn't work for me.
I think there's something that I have a hard time getting past my memory of him in Big Fish. He's I think objectively bad in Big Fish, and it's a good movie.
Who's he in Big Fish again?
Yes, he's the son talking to Albert Finney as he's dying. The story, and I think he's really bad. That whole the structure of that also doesn't work, but he doesn't work in it. And I think that has set the idea in my head of what a Billy Crudup performance is. That it's created a barrier for me. But that also sets up the idea that I think he is the worst actor that has great taste and does a lot of really good movies.
He is interesting if he's a bad actor because he does have great.
He's in great movies. I think people give him the benefit of the doubt for that because I love Jackie. I love 20th Century Women. I said Almost Famous is one of my favorites.
Mm-hmm.
I love Justice League Snyder Cut.
This is all rehashed from the original.
Okay.
Basically all the stuff going back to his place.
Horrible shot. Why do you need to look at the bottom of chains?
It is a weird shot. It is a very weird shot that I don't think has a purpose. I think it was just Snyder's we can put a camera and shoot upwards here.
This is my life dream is I want a basketball hoop in the middle of my warehouse at home. Indoor basketball hoops in the middle of your living space, to me, great idea. He also definitely doesn't play basketball, right? Ezra Miller has never held a basketball.
No.
This is where you're introduced to him, right?
This is exactly the same scene from the original Justice League. Except this happens a lot quicker than an hour and 30 minutes. Interesting to see what they add in the second half, because we're basically almost to the end of the Whedon cut.
But I'm assuming he didn't use any Whedon footage. This is all stuff he shot and that they just used in the original.
I'm unclear of how much Whedon actually shot with the original versus edited and produced.
Okay, yeah.
Because I don't think
he shot a lot of it. I thought their numbers were big. I thought it was 60% he shot.
Oh, was it? I can look this up.
I think there's big reshoots in.
I'm sure there were reshoots. I just don't think that Snyder did not exit this movie Lord and Miller in Solo or something, where they like exited really quickly.
I thought it was just one of those famous stories when like normally reshoots are normal, but this is like when they did reshoots, like they reshot like 80% of it.
That's actually like I think a lot of the DC movies have gone through that, where they've had like really heavy reshoots to the point where it's kind of not a good sign if you have to reshoot that much of your movie.
Like the lightning bolts just kind of make this too much too.
Yeah, it's not my favorite effect, especially when it's not like him running really fast or doing something really crazy.
Do you think there's a chance that Ben Affleck actually is the real Batman?
He might be. Does that make Ana de Armas Catwoman?
And that's why they broke up, because he couldn't forgive her for her most recent crime?
Maybe.
Is that okay? It's a horrible joke. It seems like just a joke against what everybody says against Batman. Yeah, she let that go way too long. I would be so mad at her. He didn't even fucking realize the kettle was going off. It was loud. I don't think that's a thing. I don't think anyone puts the water in first. Oh,
Wait, the water in the cup first?
they put because she put the water before she put the tea in the tea filter in.
I think that's how
That's
British
what you
people
told her to
do it.
do.
British people tend to do that. I think that's basically
Okay.
pretty consistent.
He's gonna accidentally shoot Wonder Woman. Seems irresponsible. See, this is where they're using Alfred as much more of a real part of the team. Like he's a tech expert all of a sudden. Is it weird that I've seen Dark Knight Rises at least one more time that I've seen The Dark Knight?
It is a little weird. A little weird.
Yeah, I haven't seen Dark Knight since like 2011.
You're right, though. They did heavily reshoot the Whedon version.
Okay, yeah.
I guess he added like 80 pages, news pages to the script. This is new. Essentially, the same thing gets said in the original, except it's not said this way.
Okay, Mercedes paid a lot of money for this. There's a lot of shots of the Benz logo.
It's like what?
And that's
Audi
her car. That's what Bruce Wayne was trying too.
Isn't Audi the one that's always in the MCU ones?
Maybe.
I think I just remember that I read some article about like a staggeringly high percentage of the cars driven by characters in MCU films are like Audi. Like they clearly had like a deal with them.
I just saw a sign for a hot yoga place, and I just find that really funny. Just hot yoga in this like horrible neighborhood of Gotham.
Really not trying to hide it.
Yeah, people are have to see him all over the place. He's also making tons of noise. He woke up everyone on the street. Is that their one fuck? Or is this R?
This is R.
Okay. Of course it is. God, the idea that any Justice League movie should be R is just insane. People who are like, my superhero movies need to be R, we need Wolverine and R. It's like, this is like, comics are made for kids, guys. Let's chill out. They don't need to be R.
I will push back. Logan actually needs the R. That movie doesn't work.
I think it's good, but like we don't need a Wolverine that's R. Like Wolverine is still a kid's character. It's fun.
No, I don't think you don't need it to be R. I think that if you wanted to make the Logan that they wanted to make, you needed it to be R. This one, for some reason, has not done anything to necessarily need an R cut, an R rating.
No, he's just an edgelord, and he needs the R to make it seem like he is pushing the boundaries, man. So Cyborg can say "fuck" for no reason.
Really, just
necessary.
Honestly, I think it's just they just don't want to have to deal with cutting stuff out. They're just like they want to make their version and just be like, yeah, we're making this. Whatever.
They literally would not have to cut out anything. They just use the word "fuck." That's why it's R. It's not overly violent.
True.
It just makes people think it's so tough and dark if you get the R rated. It's for reputation's sake. That's the whole thing. People forget, like, I think it's okay to notch that comic books, even though we're adults and we love them, they still can be for kids. They should be fun. So all my favorite MCU ones are Guardians, Thor Ragnarok, the ones that embrace the joy and goofiness of it all.
I mean, I feel like comic books can be both. I think they have the ability to be specifically for kids, but I don't think there's place in the world for comic book stories that are not completely childish.
I said, why is he
digging up his
serious?
own grave?
I think if you want your serious dramas and more thematic depth, you should be watching different movies that aren't superhero movies.
I guess. Uh-oh, yawn.
That's number 3. I'm keeping a tally.
Honest question is: are you bored, or are you just like tired and not good at staying up late?
I'm not good at staying up late. And I am a dozer, but the fact that I have to keep talking, otherwise, this would be the worst podcast ever. Is going to help me not doze.
This is a good point.
If I was watching this without you on my couch right now, I would have fallen asleep.
Fair.
This is how I roll. This is why I watch movies in half-hour portions.
I did that with
like
the BVS Ultimate Edition. I think I watched it over like 4 days.
That's what I did with the Da Vinci Code.
I feel like that's why you sometimes like these movies that other people find boring, because if you watch only 30 minutes of it at a time, it might be more engaging in that form.
You get your breaks, yeah. I didn't.
What? Like I think this is some reason. I think this might be part of the reason why you don't necessarily hate movies like some other people do. Because if you watch a movie in 30-minute chunks, it's so much harder to hate that than if you're forced to watch all 2 hours of it at once. Like you can not like 30 minutes, but if you walk away and then watch 30 minutes the next night, like you're probably less likely to come out and be like, I really hate this.
Yeah.
So this is basically
how did that guy get in the house? That guy doesn't know how to pick a lock. He's a fucking flying robot alien.
Weird police brutality scene. Fun.
I forgot that J.K. Simmons was.
I feel bad for him, honestly, because I feel like it's going to be so hard to follow Oldman.
Is he staying in this role now that he's also doing MCU again too?
I don't know, to be honest. Because isn't Pattinson, like the Pattinson version is like completely doing away with everything.
Yeah. Because everyone's supposed to be younger, so how do you keep...
Yeah, I'll
definitely looks like a cute little bat toy. That did not make that illustration scary at all. It's like a little cute bat buddy.
Look, a kid did it.
Oh, okay. Got it. Kids also just like draw shit. Like you can't base your whole investigation on what an 8-year-old drew.
That was a very Snyder shot. That's a lot of gray right there.
Yeah, it's so much gray.
It's a very gray world. Snyder's really just like, can I make a black and white movie? And they're like, no, you can't. And he's like, well, I'm gonna go super gray anyway.
Yeah, now that we're pinpointing the grade too, it's just gonna frustrate me more. Color's
It's
okay. Color's good.
Honestly, it's one of the things I like about the Whedon version. I like the fact that we can
Yeah.
see Superman's red and blue. I enjoy that. Oh, Jeffrey Wright is James Gordon in the Pattinson version.
Oh, it's interesting.
And Andy Serkis is Pennyworth. It's kind of cool.
I didn't know they recast that. Okay. This octopus should be a bigger character.
You need all the octopus. I want a solo movie about the octopus.
Aquaman needs a fish sidekick. He needs a flounder.
Ooh.
Or a Sebastian.
I think you just want Aquaman to be Little Mermaid.
It would be a lot better. They need some good songs, some reggae influenced songs. It'd be wonderful. Aquaman needs to kiss the girl.
You really just want this to be Little Mermaid.
Oh, this sound is horrible. These like weird echolocation, screechy noises is punishing.
I think they did the smart thing that they did in Aquaman is they just let people have conversations. Even when they were inside these bubbles, they could just talk. And it was just like, if you live underwater all the time, you can just talk. Why is this so gray? That's one thing I like about it.
No, you're in water. It should be blue.
But look at her costume. Why isn't there wasn't there color? There's a lot of color in freaking Aquaman. Why is it so gray?
It makes everything look monotonous, like you're in the constant same location.
Yes, it makes it really, 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 really exhausting. It's something I always have a problem with Snyder movies. Color is not a bad thing. You have freaking superheroes underwater.
That gold. You know that shit's gold. Why can't I see it?
Well, remember in Aquaman, it's freaking gold. This seems like a really dumb scene in a shark movie where they just stick their head over the side.
When did Steppenwolf learn how to swim? Do you think he went to like daddy baby swim classes?
Do you think he's like maybe a swim team?
Yeah. How do we even know there's like big bodies of water on their planet? I guess we know now.
Ooh, Jesus, just cut that dude in half. All right. That's look at that R-rated. Chopping people in half.
Steppenwolf is the muscle, right? Like he's just a muscle for Darkseid?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they've done a better job in this extended cut of showing that Steppenwolf's job is to get mother boxes for somebody else. This is not his plan. He is the instrument to get the plan done.
Well, Darkseid wasn't in Justice League, right?
No. Darkseid was not in Justice League originally.
Okay, yeah.
He might have been like a deleted scene or something. I don't think he was intentionally in it.
Cecilia like passing out, acting there. Couple head nods, one head up. Oh, she's still in.
I mean, I think we can all agree when you just don't wear a shirt underwater, it looks way cooler.
Nah, he needs a nice orange uniform.
Take those pants off. We just want freaking naked Aquaman fighting people.
It'll just be like Beowulf. They'll just be hiding his dick behind anything they could.
Little seaweed going on. What about a seaweed?
I mean,
What about a
Jason
kelp loincloth?
Momoa could have been a Beowulf. Aquaman is basically water Beowulf.
I mean, I think the only problem with Beowulf is like Jason Momoa does not look like he lives in like Germany or some part of upper Europe.
This too, the score has the weird water sound effect, and it's just like too much for my ears.
It's a lot going
I'm a
on.
sensitive little boy. It's too much.
Also, I'm not gonna lie. When you make your water that dark, it's really hard to see anything.
Yeah,
and like detail becomes real lost.
But he's using the sound to let us know we're in the water so much. We're like, I get it. I can see the water. I don't need to hear it. It's taking over my senses.
It's a little weird having these like detailed discussions of the history of Atlantis when we haven't learned the history of Atlantis. Zack dying. Zack, please don't die. Zack, you okay? Zack just died. Again, this is more of a continuation from the original, sort of the same shots. It definitely looks darker in the Snyderverse, but that's not really surprising because the man likes his gray.
Okay. I'm resuscitated. I'm good.
What did you choke on? A fish?
I have an overly productive saliva gland, and I often choke on my own saliva.
That is not a statement. That's not.
This is why I sound the way I sound. I sound like someone who has way too much saliva in his mouth, and that's why I also choke.
All right. He goes up. I really wish it wasn't so gray. I would like more color, more light. Be good. Also, it's sort of annoying that Cyborg's like, I want nothing to do with this, and then like his dad disappears. He doesn't like already, but he's like, you know what? I'm gonna go be a hero now. It's always just kind of a bizarre choice.
It's just so much forced melodrama with him. Even when you see him, it's just like a deep sigh of a shot.
Everyone's like, it's brooding, it's brooding, it's brooding.
It's not the character to do that with. I think they should embrace the coolness of like his tech more, rather than trying to embrace the emotion of it.
Make him flashy and youthful. Make him interesting. Like because the thing is, you can't outbrood Batman. So if you have Batman on the team, why are you trying to make brooding characters?
Yeah, Cyborg should be cool, not brood. Yeah, sad.
Yeah.
He's a fucking robot. They shouldn't be able doing that wrong.
Some crazy cloud just got made by the second mother box. That's interesting. Or this random part of Russia.
These dome stuff also kind of an overused thing. These old superhero domes.
Interesting.
He is moldy. Just so moldy. He's like did not protect his face. He didn't wear sunscreen ever. Okay. Pause.
And we're gonna pause here for a sec. We've just gotten to part 4. I will say, first half thoughts. I would say it's a lot of Snyder stuff. So like if you like Snyder, you're probably gonna like this. If you don't, you may not. It's a lot of slow-mo. It's a lot of long extended sequences that don't necessarily need to be extended, and a lot of gray. I will say the one big positive for anyone out there who is looking for the positive is Steppenwolf is much more interesting in this version. He's much more they flesh him out a lot more. They give him a lot more to do, and his whole search for the mother boxes is like a real search, not just like he randomly shows up and takes mother boxes, which is like what it's like in the original.
Yeah, this stakes are more felt. Yeah, the journey is more felt. It's more like this first half was like the Infinity War, leading us to care about the battle to come, to understand what the villain's kind of going for, even though his motivations maybe not super strong.
Yeah, I don't love all the emotional stuff. I think that they push a little hard, and I almost may just be the person like if you make a movie that is designed to make you buy into being super sad that Superman is gone. As somebody who really hates Snyder and Cavill's Superman, like that character does not work for me at all. Even in the extended version of BVS, that just may not work as well for me. That not necessarily his fault. It can't really go back and fix that relationship that already not worked. With that being said, we're going to end this here now, and we'll be back in a little bit with part 2. See you then.
Part 4, 5, and 6.
Well, chapter 4, 5, and 6. Part 2 of the Lucas and Zack commentary. See you then.